Hello and welcome. My name is Alex, and it's time to take a look at the outcome of the Gameweek 34. I played my free hit, and it panned out pretty well. I decided to go with a little bit of a differential midfield here. I trusted Liverpool to score some goals. They didn't, but the player that delivered for sure and propelled me into 80,000 rank was Morgan Gibbs-White. A goal and assist for him following his hat-trick performance in the previous game. And unfortunately, I cannot keep him because it's a free hit and my team will look completely different. I will have triple Man City, and we know that there is a double Gameweek 36 for Man City and for Crystal Palace. They play 2 games, and I think that Man City players are definitely must-have, but for Crystal Palace, I think it's a trap. I'm going to be trying to explain why I'm probably not going to be planning to pick any of these players. And of course, for the free hit, I think this is a very good result. Like 2 game weeks ago, I played my wild card just with the intention of free hitting in this game week, and I just climbed 120,000 rank into top 100,000. And my goal is, of course, to go below 50,000 and maybe just get to cheeky top 10k if that's possible. But it will depend, of course, heavily on how many chips other people played. Some people still have triple captain, and there is a possibility to play that chip, of course, on Haaland, who is going to be having 2 home games in Gameweek 36. So speaking of the fixtures, this is the FPL.page website. I recommend you to check it out. Now, the worst fixtures I would say are for the bottom teams, because like Brentford are playing Man City away, Liverpool away in the next 4. Crystal Palace, this is why I'm not really eager on picking up any players from Crystal Palace. They play Everton at home, and they may as well keep a clean sheet there, so that's why you might be interested in picking up some defenders. But at the same time, then they play Man City away, and what are you supposed to get there? Maybe defensive contribution points, so like 4 points over a single Gameweek defender from Aston Villa, right, who are playing Burnley, or a midfielder for that matter. Of course, you can go for Sarr, for instance, from Crystal Palace, or even for Mateta. But I'll be trying to explain and persuade you not to do that. Of course, you can get a Spurs player who playing Leeds at home. You can get a player from Brighton who are playing, and you might have still some Brighton players who are playing Wolves at home in that game week. And what are the odds of that double game week defender or midfielder from Crystal Palace outplaying and outscoring a Brighton midfielder or defender for this matter? And of course, there's Arsenal playing against West Ham. Their defense is going to be massively heavily owned. This is the run of fixtures for Crystal Palace. They're playing Europa League, Conference League semi-final against Shakhtar, and then they play in Premier League game. And the difference between the 2 games is only 3 days, so they may as well just rest some players before play their strongest team against Shakhtar Donetsk, and then of course play a rested team in the Premier League, because they're not really chasing anything. They're not gonna get relegated, and there's no chance for them to get some I don't know, European spots in the Premier League. And then in just 4 days there's another semi-final for them against Shakhtar again. And then in 3 days they're playing Premier League, first and second fixture. So for first fixture against Everton, they may rest a few players, and then for Man City they may play their strongest team, which is not really what you want. And of course, for the players that were performing before, we're starting Henderson, might be the pick, of course, but picking a goalkeeper at the end of the season isn't really that exciting. You, of course, are looking at probably 10-pointer for the double Gameweek fixture in 36. And speaking of defenders, I would only be interested in Munoz, even though like he was recently had like a bad injury record, and of course only played 14 minutes in Gameweek 29, for instance, and didn't play in 30 at all. So I wouldn't be really interested in picking any of the players really from here, but the team projections from Ropti FPL and Solo Analytics, as usual, are very useful. And for the fixtures, I think, and for the projected goals, Man City are leading. And even for clean sheet odds, you can see that they are top of the rankings, and because they are after getting that Premier League title, and they're like, look, they need to score goals, of course, but at the same time, that result against Burnley, we all expected lots of goals. Man City only scored once, but they didn't concede. So if you have a defender like Nico O'Reilly, you're looking at 6, 8, and maybe 10-pointer. Yeah, of course, he may assist as well at times. The only player that I might be looking to switch in my team is Semenyo to Shorky, because it feels like Shorky is picking up the form of his life. And the second team, of course, is Arsenal, and Arsenal are, of course, fighting for the Premier League 2. Technically, they're still on top of the table, but for the clean sheets odds, they are just as good as Man City, and of course, for the goals scored, I wouldn't really be trusting Arsenal attack, because there is a lot of rotation happening right now as I'm recording this video. They're playing against Atletico Madrid, so I'm not sure about the injuries, and I'm not really owning any Arsenal players as it stands, so I might be picking up their defense, but probably for Gameweek 37, because they have the highest clean sheet odds here, and that's where I might get Gabriel and maybe even 2 players, maybe Raya too. And speaking of other teams, I really like Brighton as well, and that's where I'm really happy to have at least 3 players from Brighton. Not at least, but exactly 3 players from Brighton. And for Chelsea, I have 2 players, and I really am looking forward to see that new manager bounce, or like the Resenior sack bounce, and see how it goes. I don't have any defense there, but I have João Pedro and Palmer, and I'm eager to sell them to a few differential players, right? So I may be looking at getting someone from Leeds, even though I'm owning 3 players from Leeds, like Okafor maybe, and for the Gameweek 35, but I cannot really do that because I'm already on triple Leeds. I might be getting Bowen, because they're still fighting relegation. I might be getting Gibbs White, who is just smashing it, of course. And speaking of other attackers, it could be a Liverpool player too, but I'm not really certain who is that going to be. Is it Wirtz? Is that Slobozai? I'm definitely not looking to get Salah, of course. And for the Brighton players, I still have, I think... No, I don't have any spots left. I have triple Brighton, triple Leeds. For Man United, there is Bruno Fernandes, the obvious choice, and Sesko is minutes are limited. For Newcastle, I'm not really sure if I'm picking any Newcastle players because of the form that they're right now, but it looks like Bruno Guimaraes is going to be returning, so there is a chance that the team will perform better with him in the midfield. For Bournemouth, I already have Tavernier. I may pick up another Bournemouth defender, by the way, or maybe even midfielder, if they just show that they're not on the beach yet and the performances are going to be pretty impressive. For the projected goals in Gameweek 35, not the double Gameweek 36, but 35, I think that this is pretty straightforward. And if you look at this, Leeds have the same, almost the same clean sheet odds as Arsenal defense. And I'm owning triple Leeds, and I'm planning to start 3 Leeds defenders plus 2 defenders plus a goalkeeper. And I'm looking forward to take on the ownership of Arsenal defenders. And those who didn't play wildcard before, they played wildcard or about to play the wildcard in 35, they may just have a lot of Arsenal defenders. So I'm looking forward for Burnley to wipe out that clean sheet. But I'm not going to be going against the odds, so just getting Arsenal defenders for the sake of it. I have one of my Leeds defenders flagged, yellow flagged, so I'm not really sure if I need to get a Gabriel for that Leeds defender, but we'll see about that. And speaking of the goals, projected goals, Leeds are also pretty high here, and Man City are top of the table there. And for other teams, I'm highly invested in Bournemouth, Chelsea, and of course I have Brighton too, but they're playing Newcastle away. I'm not sure which Newcastle are we going to be seeing, and Arsenal just barely managed to beat them at home. So here's how the team looks like. Darlow in goal. I trust him. He's playing Burnley at home, and Leeds have just picked up very, very impressive form. So I think that there is a chance that they're getting clean sheet, and I'm also tripling down, or like tripling up on Leeds defenders. Bogle, we're attacking fullback, and I have Bijol, and unfortunately he's yellow flagged. So if this, now as it stands, I'm not planning to make any transfers, but if that is going to be a problem, or maybe his minutes could be limited because there's a lot of competition now for the center back spot at Leeds, I might just get Gabriel for Bijol, and I have, I think, enough of money for that. But at the same time, Nico Riley, I'm real happy with that defender for me starting, and Hill is also starting for me. For my midfield, Palmer against Nottingham Forest. This is going to be a pretty unpredictable game. I don't know what kind of Chelsea are we going to be getting, and after that, manager sacking, and of course, for Tavernier, I'm really happy for that fixture. I feel like Crystal Palace aren't going to be trying too hard, and Bournemouth are pretty attacking team. Semenyo is my other midfielder, whom I, of course, would have wanted to do a sideways transfer to Cherky with, and I'm not really sure if that obviously warrants a transfer, But as it stands, the form that Cherky picked up, like I said before, it feels like this is going to be a move that may just help me just propel my rank even higher. And then Bruno Fernandes against Liverpool, also a captaincy option, but my current captain is Erling Haaland against Everton. Now, Everton aren't really known for conceding a lot of goals at home, but I'm hoping that Man City are going to be setting up pretty attacking, and there is no other tournaments except for the Cup games for them, and they also did a heavy rotation for that. Only Cherky was playing, I think, almost 90 minutes. And then Joao Pedro playing against Nottingham Forest. On the bench, as you can see, I have Welbeck. And if there is any news that Welbeck is starting or is projected to start, right? He didn't start both games in double game week, but he returned me some points, 8 points, and that was pretty nice. And if he starts, I may just swap Bijol for Welbeck, because I'm not going to be playing 4 at the back with a defender that is a doubt. I also have Kadioglu, who, depending on the type of Newcastle team that is projected to be starting, I'm maybe just regretting benching him, because he's so attacking. He's not picking up any defensive contribution points, but still, I just don't like to bench him. And there's going to be a very nice fixture for Brighton very soon. And Gordon, of course, in my bench is flagged, and I'm not really sure that I'm going to be keeping him in my team any longer. So that was my team selection. Let me know, how are you doing? Are you preparing for the double game week? Are you planning to get any Crystal Palace players? Because I think I'm going to be meeting them. Let's jinx all the players that we don't have, and I'll see you next time. Peace.